Hey, today we have a very exciting guest. I'm so excited. It's Patrick Cassidy from Studio Tenn. Look, we're going to talk about something. Can you see it? We're going to talk about something really fun. How's it going today?
I'm really good. That's a play where nothing goes right. It's, thus the title.
That's the title. It says the play that goes wrong, though. That's the title.
Right. Then that's because nothing does go right. It's an evening of just nothing, pure fun, silly, hysterical, stupidity entertainment. It's really fun.
And it was a great laugh. I was trying to explain it to somebody. I was able to go on opening night and I was trying to explain it to somebody. And I said, it's kind of like if Saturday Night Live had a whole show, because, some of their little skits, things happen
Mhm.
unexpectedly. That's kind of what this happens in this play.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that I think parallel it. I mean, the Carol Burnett show.
Oh, yeah.
Which is very good. Sort of Carol Burnett meets Agatha Christie meets a small community theater, theater company.
Yes.
And you're right, anything and everything on a stage for a production that can go wrong does, and that's what happens. And it takes a lot of rehearsal, a lot of technical work, a lot of choreography, a lot of safety to make sure everything does go wrong.
Yeah.
And the actors worked so hard with the director and the crew. I mean, the performance by the crew backstage is just as big and as important as the performance by the actors on stage. Um,
Yeah.
it is,
Talk to me about that because without giving too much away, because there are a lot of things on that set that, as you have mentioned, goes wrong. So let's give everybody a little bit of an idea of some of those things. There's like a second level
mhm.
platform area and it kind of collapses. Is that the best way to
Yeah,
describe it?
different stages.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, again, if you were to think of a community theater that didn't have a lot of money, if you were
Yeah.
to think of a community theater that was putting on a thriller, a whodunit, it's like Clue meets the Carol Burnett show, and it's live, so anything on that set, anything with the actors, including forgetting their lines or getting enamored with themselves in front of the audience, or it's all about that, all the perils of a small production theater that that sort of falls apart literally in front of an audience. The
Yeah.
actors, the set, the crew, everyone, um, and that makes for incredibly hysterical laughter.
Oh, yeah.
Um, because they make fun of themselves, and the way I've described it is, if you've ever seen the movie with Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels called Dumb and Dumber, this
Yes.
this makes that look like a drama.
That's
That's
a good I hadn't thought about that comparison. That's a
Yeah,
good comparison.
and it's
Yeah, and at the very, very end, don't leave early because at the very, very end, it
yeah,
goes very, very wrong.
yeah, the capper. It's a bit of an explosion.
Which, talking about the timing and everything, that has to be perfectly timed
Oh yeah,
because that was a big
very dangerous.
yeah.
This was the first time that we started day one of rehearsals in the theater on the set.
Mm,
And whereas most times when you do a show, you're in the rehearsal studio for 2.5 weeks before you go in to tech the show. In this case, we started with the actors from day one because they had to rehearse with the set, because to your point, the set is one of the big stars of the show. And
yes.
how the actors, work on that set, how the crew people work with the set and the actors is very choreographed. It's all timed, and it has to be safe because it is dangerous.
Mhm.
So we started day one. We actually had the set behind our previous show set, which was Crimes of the Heart. So we put Crimes of the Heart sort of on top of the set to cover it, because we had no time to load out Crimes of the Heart, load in Play That Goes Wrong, and get it all assembled for the actors to start day one. So that
Wow.
was a bit of orchestrating we did, but yeah, it's been a gigantic hit for us. People are are talking about it like wildfire. They have a great time. I mean, that's what it is. It's just pure entertainment. You know, as I say, there's something incredibly hysterical about complete stupidity, and
Yeah.
that's what this show gives a good audience. You
Yeah.
know,
Talk to me about some of the actors. They've got some repeats, some people who have been in other Studio 10 productions. Talk to me through that because they're
well,
incredible as well.
they are. It's a group of veterans in terms of it's not just Studio 10, but the acting community is large. I mean, Megan Murphy Chambers has done, I don't know, 6, 7 shows for Studio 10. She was last year. She was, you know, Sally Bowles in Cabaret. She did Smoke on the Mountain for us. In the past, before I got here, she had done Glinda in Wizard of Oz, and Truvy with my first show here was Steel Magnolias. You know, she's incredible, incredible. And then of course Garris Wimmer, who's back. He's done a million shows for us, and Caleb Shore, who I brought to Studio 10 on my first production, which was It's a Wonderful Life, a live radio play. He played George Bailey, and he was so great. And then I brought him back when we did it again, and then we put him as Cliff in Cabaret. So this is his basic 4th show with us, and everybody else. Jennifer Whitcomb-Oliva, she's amazing, done a billion shows for us, and yeah, it's a real fine group of like I said, incredibly talented people, and they work so well together, and they're having as good a time, if not more so, than the audience. They're having the best time of their lives.
Well, it looks like it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's good. That's good to know. This is the last weekend you can see the show.
Yep.
I heard tickets are going really fast.
Very. Yeah, we hit our ticket goal, or shall I say, we hit our budget goal, which is different than tickets,
Right.
at the end of the first week, which was amazing. So everything else now is revenue, money in our pocket, because and the budgets, you know, they're pretty, but it was so received so well that first week. So now everything else, you know, is just a product of people's word of mouth, and that's why people, you know, are reacting to it. Some people are coming back again, and the other thing too, which has been wonderful for Studio 10, is that it's attracted a whole new demographic of people that are not just season ticket holders. Our season ticket holders tend to skew a little bit older for the most part. This is families and kids and teenagers and people in their 20s. I mean, it's really broadened our demographic, which is so great because, you know, we want to bring them back, and they're
Yeah.
for young kids experiencing the theater for the first time.
Yeah, it's great. There was a family sitting behind us the night that we watched it, and these little kids could not stop laughing, which to me was almost as funny as watching the show.
Well, you know, the Three Stooges.
Yeah.
You know, that anybody can watch that. You know, you know, Three Stooges. It's Monty Python meets Franklin.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah. It's hilarious.
There's something for everyone. You know,
It is a great show. We're going to put the information up. This weekend is your last chance.
right. We have a show tomorrow. We have a show Thursday night, Friday night, all 7 o'clock. Then on Saturday we have 2 shows: a matinee at 2 o'clock and an evening show at 7 o'clock. And then on Sunday we close, and that's a matinee at 1 o'clock.
Yeah. And the show is not very long. So you can bring your kids, and your kids are not going to get too antsy.
Yeah. First act's like an hour, 15-minute intermission. Second act's like 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Before we go real quick, let's talk about Studio 10 Gala coming up in April. That's a big event.
Huge. It's our big
Tell me more about that.
Well, it's our biggest fundraiser of the year. I mean, it really is our big fundraiser. It's called One Night Only, and it's for only one night. And we do it in Liberty Hall in the factory. You know, 400 people. We want 3 to 50 or something like that. And it's incredible atmosphere, incredible dinner catered by Suzette Catering, and then we do a show, full show. It's a big undertaking, and this year is very special because we're celebrating our 15th year anniversary.
Wow.
So everybody involved are all veterans, people that have done shows, and I'm calling it the evening of showstoppers. Every number is a showstopper. Every number is just knock it out of the park, and it's going to be a retrospective of those 15 years. And I'm actually going to host this one, so I get to take the audience through my 5 years and the 10 years prior. Matt Logan, who was one of the founders, he designed our set for it, and and Jake Speck, who's was the managing director, and Philip and Marguerite Hall, founders. They'll all be there, and it's honoring everyone and anyone who ever bought a ticket to a Studio Tenn show and beyond. So
Wow.
really excited.
Well, it is a important part of Franklin community. I can't believe it's been 15 years. Also, people don't know a lot about Studio Tenn. This would be a great event to come and learn more about what you guys do, because it's more than just community theater. These are professional actors. These shows are absolutely incredible.
We are the only theater company, professional theater company in Williamson County. And by professional, I mean we're a union company. Actors Equity is the union that does Broadway actors and national tour actors, all of that stuff. That's what we are. And so, we present that kind of quality work. And the actors that get to work with us are at the top level, both here in Tennessee, and I go out and get actors from New York and Los Angeles and Chicago, all of that. And yeah, it is. And here's the thing about, a nonprofit theater company. There's two means of revenue. One is either ticket sales, which we're doing great at. Season tickets were, a record high this past year. And the other is contributions and donations. And that's what we need to build up all the time. Every theater company across the country is going through this. And that's what our fundraiser's for. It's there not just for people who buy a ticket for the event, which is great, but it's also there for people to make donations and contributions. And because that's how we keep the lights on, and that's how we continue what's going on and what is so special at the factory in Turner Theater, which is Studio Tenn.
Yeah. Yeah, that theater. Even if you aren't that interested in the show, which I can't imagine, just go to the theater. That theater is amazing.
Yep. No, we are. That was a dream come true. When Holiday Properties bought the factory and started renovating, and they came to us and said, "Look, if you'll partner with us, we'll build you a real theater," because we used to perform in the old Jameson Hall. And that was just an 11,000 square foot warehouse that we would convert into a proscenium and a theater and a stage, all of that. So yeah, and with the incredible generosity of Cal Turner Jr. and people like Marilyn and Calvin Leahy and Lynn and Tony McAllister and Kay and Rod Heller and Trish and Jim Monroe, among others, we were able to partner with them and build Turner Theater. And it's an incredible place.
Yeah, the transfer. If you haven't been there yet, the transformation is unbelievable. So it's worth just going to see that for sure.
And that goes for the whole factory itself.
Oh yeah. I mean, every time I go back, I'm like, wow, this is.
There's another restaurant. There's a store. Right?
Yeah.
There's going to be a carousel there. So I mean,
right. Lots of fun things happening. All right, this weekend we'll tell you one more time. The play
that goes wrong. It's Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, 2 on Saturday, and a matinee on Sunday. Last 6 shows. Come and get tickets because they're almost gone. You got to go to the box office or go to studiotenn.org.
Studiotenn.org. What is coming up next? What's the next play coming up?
Well, it's our biggest. It's the biggest show maybe we've ever done. It's Jersey Boys. The story about Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. It's an incredible show. Jake Speck, who was the managing director for Studio 10 years ago, he did the show on Broadway, and he and his wife Emily are going to direct and choreograph it. We are bringing in all 4 guys, including the Frankie Valli from New York Broadway, to do it, and an incredible group of actors here in Tennessee to join them. It's a huge, gigantic musical. Over 250 costumes. It's an amazing show featuring all the music of Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. And wow. It is the best, as they call it, jukebox musical I've ever seen. And what I mean by that, jukebox means like an existing catalog of songs that were famous, like Bell did it or Billy Joel, all of it. And this is the best of the best. This show, huge hit on Broadway, huge hit around the world. And we were lucky enough to get it. So
amazing. All right, we'll have to come back and talk about that more. That's in May.
Yep.
But for now, you guys don't miss this show. Everyone needs a good laugh right now, and this will fit the bill, so to speak, right?
Yep.
All right. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again soon.
Thanks, Donna.